Hello, and welcome to an update for Siphon. A couple things I want to talk about today is my progress writing the first draft, as well as some updates related to concept art, and basically going back and fleshing out part of the first draft. Let's talk about the first draft. I'm about 113,000 words into it right now. I've been writing it since February, and I started outlining last March. Currently writing chapter 55. It is the big climax where I guess everything comes together, and then there's some trade dispute. There's this a big conversation between like the two leaders of each faction, and I'm excited to write that, but I'm also a little bit nervous because there's a number of chapters before this one in which I have to make a number of updates. For example, chapter 2, which I think is the most changed chapter, funny enough, the second chapter. I know what I'm going to write. I might keep the very first scene, but I'm debating keeping that, but I'm probably going to scrap that too. Just because I ended up having a scene around like chapter 20 or so during the annual convict death tournament where Felikir has to fight the first person, and I thought, well, this character I could easily introduce in an earlier chapter, and that made me think of a scene that could replace the current chapter 2 and make for a much better catalyst for conflict in the future. Now that I'm writing the climax right now, I am considering, because I was originally going to go back and make all of those tweaks after I finish writing the full first draft and I actually get to the end of it. But because this climax is very reliant on the main characters, I'm considering going back and doing that first because there might be developments that come up from me writing those. Like all of those chapters that I need to tweak, the information is there. I just need to apply it and actually write it out in paragraph forms. Because what I do is I take parentheses and bracket a chunk of text that say like, add a scene here where blank and blank happens, and then this happens to blank. We introduce blank here. Like, it's just skeletal. It's just like the bare bones. Editor Michael here. I just got back from the gym. Just want to say that one of the things I forgot to mention is that the inclusion of this new character, Prince Pyre, is a big reason why I'm so hesitant on writing the climax. They play a sizable role in that scene, and I don't necessarily understand who that character is quite yet. I created them around chapter 50 or so in order to keep Zola trapped in this human supremacist city, Domos, because I wanted Felikir and Garmok to basically be separated from her so that Felikir is more inclined to take care of Garmok in the future, which ends up happening. That was something that I had planned from the very beginning. Was actually Zola's removal was something that was new, but I wanted just the two of them to make it to this city in order to further their connection and build this sort of big brother, little brother relationship. Because of Prince Pyre's creation and his influence on the climax, I need to now go back and write those chapters in which he's introduced, the scenes where he and Zola have some conversation or whatever, basically expand that a little bit so that I can better understand that character. Moving on to concept art, I am currently working with a concept artist on the first run of sketches for Felikir, the main human protagonist of the story, as well as the tier 3 armor that the Crusaders have. I want there to be about 5 tiers of armor, and every time you get promoted, you get new levels of armor, similar to like Halo. With like the Spartans having the highest, but in my case they're not called Spartans, they're called Saints, and the whole military progression system is based off of Christian and Catholic roles. So we've got Saints, we've got Bishop, Archbishop, as well as a number of others. I haven't fully fleshed out that ranking hierarchy. I basically just filled out the roles that I needed to fill out in order to get this far, and if I ended up having someone who was a tier 1 or whatever, then I would create that on the spot. and then include it in the already existing hierarchy, but I haven't had to do that, so I just haven't done it yet. I will do that for sure before I release the book, but haven't done that yet. And one of the other things I need to do soon is create the map for Romagar, which is the Selthian settlement, because I have a number of scenes that I just wrote within their settlement, and just like them walking through halls or going in different rooms, I'm like kind of picturing it in my head, but I would like to have a visual aid, because I was earlier, like a couple months ago, when I was writing scenes within the human settlement within Domos, I was running into the problem of inconsistencies. That's the map of Domos, which is super rough, but like it's enough right now for me to understand like how everything's structured. I knew I wanted it to be a circle because they live under this giant radiation umbrella. I think that is good for the updates today. Drop a comment if you're interested in knowing more about anything that I said, whether it's Domos, the Selthians, any of the characters. Drop it in the comments. I'd love to go into depth with any questions you have. There will be a video coming soon talking about the power system and how I made that, and everything related to that as well. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one.